Hello there, welcome back to my channel. I hope you all had a wonderful Christmas holiday if you celebrate it. I'm so excited for this video because today I'm talking about all of the books I read in 2021 and I'm very excited about it. So this year I made it one of my goals to read a book each month. I try to at least finish a book each month, so if I wanted to kind of start a new one and then just finish it the next month in case things got busy. And I think I did it. I definitely read over 12 books. I read a lot. So I'm going to try to keep it brief and I'm going to try to go to them quickly of all of the books I read this year and what I thought of them. So first book, these are in kind of no particular order, I just kind of grabbed them off the shelf, is Daisy Jones and the Six. So this book was interesting. I wasn't the biggest fan. It was an interview style book, but it was not real life. It was written kind of like an interview. The whole thing was written in an interview from everyone's perspective in the band. And it's like a 60s rock and roll band kind of situation. And it was interesting, but it was just not my favorite. I really like a lot of romantic comedies and things like that, which you will see in the majority of the books I read. And this just wasn't that. So it wasn't for me, but I do know that it was a Book of the Year winner for the Book of the Month Club. Oh, I forgot to say, I did Book of the Month Club. This is called Book of the Month Club? Book of the Month all year this year, and I really enjoyed it, and that's where the majority of these books are from, although I have seen them in like Barnes & Nobles and stuff, so I think they're available elsewhere as well and you can buy them online, but that's where a lot of these came from. So yeah, wasn't a big fan of this one, but I think a lot of people loved it. So next one is People We Meet on Vacation by Emily Henry. I loved this one. I thought it was so cute. It was so fun. It was like two friends that go on vacation together every year during the summer, and this summer they fell in love. I don't think that's a spoiler. I think it says it in the description of it. It was a really cute book. It was fun. It was a quick read and I enjoyed it. The next book I read was The Maidens by Alex Michaelides? I'm not sure how to say it. But this book was quite interesting. This one was definitely different than my usual books. It was like a murder mystery type of like whodunit type of book, mixed in with Greek mythology, which was interesting. So it was kind of a thriller as well a little bit, but I liked it. I enjoyed it. It was about a Greek professor. He taught Greek mythology. I think I read these a while ago, so I'm trying to remember. He taught Greek mythology at a college, and then he has like this secretive group of like female students that are called the Maidens, and they're all like very beautiful, and they kind of like follow him around. They have private meetings with him. Seems a little weird. And then all of a sudden one of them is murdered, and then I think another one is murdered or something. I can't remember. Maybe it's just one of them. And then a therapist who's also the aunt of one of the girls that goes to the school, her roommate was murdered, was one of the maidens was murdered. So she drives or flies over to see her to be like, let me help you through this difficult time, and starts unraveling a whole bigger situation going on. So it was a good book. I thought it was quite interesting, especially because I'm not a big fan of things that aren't rom-coms, as I've already said. But I liked this one. It kept me on the edge of my seat, and it had a huge plot twist in the end that I did not see coming. So I enjoyed this book quite a bit. The next book I have is The Heart Principle by Helen Huang. I think Huang. I hope I'm saying that correctly. This was a great book. This one was definitely a little twist on the usual romantic comedy. Count how many times I say romantic comedy in this video. But it was really good. It was a really interesting take because there was a lot of different things with perfectionism and mental health and family dynamics and learning to kind of like stand up for yourself in a family dynamic. And it was just really interesting. It also had a lot of mental health lenses through this, which was great. And it started with the main character. She went viral on YouTube as a violinist, and then having to deal with the perfectionism of all of these eyes on her now and trying to live up to that, and also getting diagnosed with different like mental health issues and, well, not issues, but just different mental health diagnosis, and how she copes with that and is working through that. And I thought it was quite inspiring reading about how she kind of is working through that. It's a fictional character, so she's not real, I don't think. I mean, it's supposed to be fiction, but it was a great book. I really enjoyed it. So this one is not book of the month, which so far all have been, but this is The Haunting of Blackwood House by Darcy Coates. I'm terrible at pronouncing. I hope that's right. But this one I just read recently. I just finished it, and it was spooky. It was a spooky book. So this girl grew up in a long legacy of like spiritualists in her family, and her parents had said she was like gonna be a great medium and all this stuff, and then she kind of found out that things were just like all parlor tricks, and that her family did, and the seances and stuff that her family did were all parlor tricks for people to pay for it. And so she just distanced herself entirely from her family. She felt like her whole life had been like a lie to her as growing up. And then she finds this old house, and she just like, I don't believe in ghosts, I don't believe in hauntings, and that's why they've had a hard time finding like an owner for this house or a buyer, because there were all the rumors of all the stories of, you know, the families that have been driven out, and there was a serial killer there originally that had died in the house, I think. And yeah, so she moves in, and then all of a sudden things start happening around her, and she's not sure what to believe, what's going on. And it really had a lot of plot twists. It definitely was not as like realistic or realist as other like haunting books I've read. It's definitely felt like a lot more like fictional, but it was very spooky. It spooked me, but I loved it. It was a page turner. I couldn't put it down. So it was quite interesting. Okay, this book might be one of my favorites of the year. It's called Beach Read by Emily Henry, which is an author I already had mentioned. And this book was so cute. It is such a classic romantic comedy. I want them to make this into a movie because I thought it would be so cute. Like, it's just such a classic feel-good romance. So she finds out, our main girl, she finds out a big secret that her dad had been keeping from from her and her mom, his wife. And after he passes, and she inherits this little side house on a lake, I think it's a lake, that she never knew existed. And the neighbor there, who is about her age, is actually one of her former like arch nemesis through college. They're both writers. They both are working on books, and he has like the little cottage next door. And she moves in to try to sell the house and get all fixed up to sell it. And they have great chemistry, but like they hate each other kind of thing. So they both challenge each other to write books, because she writes really fluffy romance novels with happy ever afters, and he writes like these dark, realist, I don't know what the word would be, books that are like never have happy endings and stuff. And so they challenge each other to write the opposite genre book, and because they both are like, that's not that part of it, that's not hard, what I do is much harder and stuff like that. So they challenge each other, and they have the whole summer to write it, and whoever pitches it and gets it bought by a publishing company at the end of the summer wins, and it all just unfolds from there. And it's just like a really, really cute book. I want to read it again. I loved it so much. I didn't want it to end. I thought it was so cute. If you like romantic comedies or like easy beach reads, they're just quick reads, this one is so good. Obviously, beach reads. It's just so good. It's so cute. The Lost Apothecary by Sarah Penner. So this one took me a while to get through. The cover is beautiful. It's just gorgeous. But it took me a long time to get into and like get through. Like I kind of get into it and then I kind of fall out of it. So this book is, I think they call it historical fiction because it's not real, but it is like all based in history. So it flips back and forth between a past life person, like a person that was no longer living in the 1700s, and her life, as well as flips forward to present day modern London. Back in the 1700s, there was a woman that took over an apothecary shop for her mother, and her mother dealt with like women's maladies when doctors women's issues health-wise when doctors really didn't do that. And so she was kind of more of like a holistic healer with different roots and herbs and things like that, and that's what she grew up in. And then, you know, something happened, it changed her view on things, and she became known as like the silent killer apothecary person that would put together potions and poisons for women to give to their like terrible husbands, like in bad situations, to get them out of that situation. So it was like a really undercover hidden apothecary, and she lived in like the dark shadows of like the night, you know. And modern day Caroline, whose life is falling apart, goes to London to find herself and to take an anniversary trip she didn't get to take with her husband because he was cheating on her or something. And so then she finds like a little vial and starts unraveling this mystery of this lost apothecary that no one knew about. And she's able to kind of like crack the mystery. So we flip back and forth between learning about the apothecary and present day, how she's stumbling upon uncovering all of this history. And it's really interesting. It honestly is a really, really well written book. I thought it was great. There weren't like a lot of plot holes or like anything like for something so specific and like a timeline that all like matched up really well. It was just really interesting. You felt like you were also uncovering a piece of history at the same time. And it was just really good. I liked it. I thought if you're something you're interested in, like historical fiction, I think that would be the genre. This was quite interesting. Next up is The Unhoneymooners by Christina Lauren. And I think I got this one at Barnes & Noble's, I think it's at Barnes & Noble's. So this was not part of the Book of the Month Club. But this was a cute book. This also seemed like it'd be a movie. It was actually quite long. Like it's quite a like hefty book for a like rom-com type of book. But it was really cute. This does seem like it would be a movie. I'm surprised it's not yet. So basically there's two twins, a lucky twin, an unlucky twin. We know the perspective of the unlucky twin, and her lucky sister like won everything for her wedding. She's getting married. She won everything through contests and like all of these things and like giveaways. And so she won like a perfect honeymoon in Hawaii. And the issue was that the catering that she won, like the buffet, got everybody super sick at the wedding, including herself and her husband or her new husband, and everyone except for her twin sister and the best man, because they both like couldn't do buffets. I think they like hated buffets or something, and so they had like a separate plate for them or something. And so they were the only ones that didn't get sick. I'm sure you can see where this is going. The honeymoon was already paid for. She looked identical, I think, to her twin or something pretty close, so she was able to pull off going on the honeymoon for free using her like ticket, but they couldn't transfer it to her because it was a giveaway, so it had to be her, so she had to pretend to be her. And the best man had to pretend to be his brother, the brother-in-law, I guess, husband, I don't know. And so they both go together, and of course they hate each other, and then they start kind of, you know, falling in love, which seems like a little weird because now that they're kind of like legally related. But anyway, so it was a cute book. It was really cute. If you just don't think too far into it, like it was a cute book. And it does seem like something that would be a movie. So I don't know. I thought it was cute. It's just a classic, you know, beach read, and I enjoyed it. Okay, I think I'm a little over actually halfway through, so hopefully it's not taking too long. So this one is called Paybacks, A Witch by Alana Harper. I just read this in October around Halloween time because I thought it'd be so fun. I love like kind of witchy type books as well. Witchy ones, kind of supernatural type ones like ghosts and paranormal, and also rom-coms. Those are my genres, like so random, but like I love them all so much. So this one was really cute. This was like a rom-com, but with witches. And it was pretty cute. I liked it. So it was about four families that have a long legacy, like witchism, that have been witches for a very long time. They founded this town, like their old ancestors founded this town. I think it was called Thistle Grove. And as long as they stay in Thistle Grove, their magic will be strong because that was where they was founded. It explains it all, but I don't want to go into too much detail. And they have every 50 years they have this tournament between the four families where the oldest of the four families competes within a certain age range, I think. The eldest like child of each four families competes, and they don't know what they're gonna be. They don't know what the competition's gonna be, and whoever wins it, their whole family will be blessed with like good luck and fortune and stronger magic for the next 50 years. And so it has been dominated by one particular family, the Blackmores, entire, gosh, like I think they said like 2 or 3 of those like tournaments, so like 150, 200 years. And so they've had massive wealth and fortune they've accumulated, and the other families are not doing as well because like a lot of that has all gone to them. And so Unfortunately for the Blackmores, their son has been two-timing and playing all three of the other witch girls from the families. So they all joined together to ban against, or to, I guess not ban, but join together. They band together to try to defeat the Blackmores in this competition. So it was fun. And then two of them fall in love a little bit. And so not with the boy that scorned them all, but two of the other witches fall in love. It was really fun. It was so cute. Like, I want to visit this town. It sounds really nice. It sounds like so like magical and like welcoming and warm, like on Halloween. It sounded really nice. So this was a really fun book. This was super cute. Next book is The Dating Plan by Sarah Desai. This one I read in January, so it's been a long time since I read. This was the first book of the year I read. And I breezed through this. It's a classic rom-com. It doesn't stand out a lot. I read a lot of rom-coms this year, obviously. And this one, I have a hard time kind of remembering what it's about. But basically, two people, childhood kind of like crushes. It was like her older brother's friend and her have always kind of had childhood crushes on each other. He stood her up at the prom. She's not over it that he stood her up all those years ago. And she is super successful programmer, I think she is. It's based in San Francisco in like the Bay Area, which is really cool because I went to college there. That's where Austin and I met. So that was fun. And they run into each other. He's a super successful investor now, and life just keeps throwing them together, and they both need fiancés. So she needs a fiancé to get her family off her back about getting married. He needs a fiancé to secure some family inheritance that he's set to gain. Otherwise, it'll be sold off to like a major company, torn down, all that kind of stuff, and he doesn't want to see that for his family legacy. So they both are fake fiancés until it's not fake anymore. So, you know, the classic love situation. This also sounds like it'd be a movie, but I think it probably already is in just like a different way. But it was really cute. It was fun, and it was just a good old classic rom-com. Okay, bear with me, guys. We're getting through it. So, The Summer Job by Lizzie Dent. I got this one at Target. This was so cute. It was a little bit nerve-wracking because it was one of those books that was like a whodunit. Not whodunit, but like, is she gonna get caught? Like, is she gonna get caught? Is she gonna get caught? So, Birdie. Why did I say Lizzie? Oh, that's the author name. So Birdie decides to take her friend's place as a sommelier in Scotland at what she thought was a dilapidated old like inn. She wanted a new change. She needed a job. She wanted to get out of, I think they're in London, or England at least. And so she wanted to get out, and she wanted to go somewhere new. Her friend said that she didn't want to take that. She's also like, her friend's a master sommelier. She said she won't take that. She's gonna run off to be with this guy she met in Italy. And so Birdie's being left with, she can't afford the rent on her own. She doesn't have, I think she didn't have a job. I can't remember exactly, but I think so. She decides to take this summer job in the Scottish Highlands as a sommelier, thinking like it's gonna be a rundown place, and turns out it's not. It turns out it's like a 5-star. They're trying to build up to be this incredible new like hotel and restaurant destination, and she has to kind of fake her way through it, and that is a little stressful for me. Like, I felt a little bit stressed out, worried that she's gonna get caught, that she's slipping up on like the names or like the wine pairings, and so it like made me quite nervous. But like a true rom-com, it's all, I don't want to give it away, but you know, like it all ends up good in the end. So kind of, you know, it takes some hits. But it's just one of those ones that like kind of has you like, she's gonna get caught, is she gonna get caught, she can't slip up there, you know, like makes you nervous, like you feel for them. But if you like that type of book, you're gonna love this. It's cute, it's fun, there is romance because there's supposedly a really cute guy that works as the chef there, and his mom runs it. So it's just really, it's a cute book. Like it's a cute one. It's a good summer read. Okay, we have 4 left. I'm telling you, I read a lot this year. So this one is The Kindred Spirit Supper Club by Amy Reichert and Reichert probably. And this was really cute. Again, this is the same kind of like supernatural type medium spiritual things, where Sabrina and her family, it's me, Sabrina Monroe, not Sabrina Teenage Witch, but Sabrina Monroe. She moved back to the Wisconsin Dells, which means that her family curse is activated where they can see and speak to spirits and dead people. And she's tried to ignore it her whole life. Her family's like, you need to like embrace it. We need you to take over the family business of helping people move on. And she has to kind of cope with that after she's come back. And also there's a new young developer in town who is her age and is developing, I think, the restaurant on the water he purchased, and it's trying to bring it back. And he loves the Wisconsin Dells. He loves it. He wants to stay there. He really enjoys it. And she's like, how can you love it here when you're from a big city? I want to go back. They spend a lot of time together, and she's scared he's going to find out her secret. And yeah, he really likes her and he really wants this to work out. So that's just kind of how that unfolds a little bit. It's kind of a classic rom-com in that sense, but with like a little twist because she can see dead people. So it was fun. It was really cute. It was a cute, fun book. Okay, this one is a bit different than some of the other ones, but not too far off because it's still about ghosts. So Home Before Dark by Riley Sager. And this was a Book of the Month Club one. This book, I loved it. I breezed through it. This was probably one of my other favorite books this year. And it had so many twists and turns, and I feel like I was on the edge of my seat the whole time. It was one of those books where you like didn't see things coming. You were discovering them right as the character was discovering them, and I love those books. Like, I don't really want to know like what's going to happen ahead of time and then see them like walk through it, you know what I mean? I prefer to like discover it with them and really go through it with them, and that's what I felt like this did. It was just a really good spooky book, but it had such a twist at the ending that I didn't see coming. And I was like, oh my gosh, it all makes sense now. You know, like one of those moments you're like, that is so great. And it was also like kind of a psychological thriller too, because you kind of like think about it, you're like, what is happening? Like, what's going on? Like trying to piece the puzzle together. So basically, Maggie Holt, she I guess she spent like a few weeks, I think they only lived there for, or like a month, at this old spooky house as a kid, and they left in the middle of the night and they went to a hotel. Her dad was a writer. He wrote this book about all the horrors that happened in this house, and she was like, I don't remember any of that as a kid. And the book went huge. It went like super popular. They were on talk shows all the time when she was a kid. They got super famous from it, and she had to pretend that like that stuff happened, but she didn't remember. And she's like, it's not real. It was all fake. My whole childhood was like wasted around being associated as the weird girl from the, you know, spooky house. And so her dad passes away. He leaves her the house, and she needs to sell it. And so she's like, I don't care. I'm going to go fix it up. Like, I want to know what happened. None of her parents would ever tell her what happened. She's like, they're lying, but they kept saying that they're telling the truth, that what the book was what it was, and to leave it alone. And she was like, that can't be. Like, I don't remember any of that. That's not true. So she goes back and she starts like uncovering things. Suddenly things in the book start happening to her at this house, even though her parents begged her not to go back there. And it was really interesting because the book was written, like, I think it's like every other chapter switch between you're reading about her story of what's happening and then his book. So it's almost like two books in one. So there'll be a chapter about what's happening with her and her experiences there, and then all of a sudden it'll be like June 29th, day 4, and this was her dad's book. And so you're getting to go through and read her dad's book at the same time as she's experiencing things happening then. So then it's like chapter 7, and then it switches after that. It goes to her book. Her dad's book's called House of Horrors, and it switches June 30th, day 5, House of Horrors, and you're reading his book. So it's really interesting. I love the way it was written because you're hearing his stories in the book that she read in a different tone than like her dad's voice, while also interspersed with her story as she's fixing it up and going back there as an adult, and what she like doesn't remember and does remember. It was a good book. Like, I really liked this book. I think I would read it again. I would definitely recommend it if you're into this type of genre of like haunted and spooky kind of books, or even it's just like the Halloween season and you're interested in it. It was really good. This was also one of my favorites. This Time Next Year by Sophie Cousins. This book was fun. It was cute. It was another rom-com, but like a different setting. This one I think was also based in London or like England, where two people, boy and a girl, were both born on New Year's Eve, like just after midnight, and one of them won the prize, her being the firstborn of the new year, like monetary prize. And that was the one that like the girl that didn't win it, her mom didn't win it, obviously, because she was giving birth to her. They needed the money. But the one that did win, his mom didn't need the money. They were very wealthy. And her mom and his mom actually were friends, like in the labor delivery room that night, because they both were there having their babies, obviously. And there was always kind of like a chip on the shoulder that she was the unlucky one, because she was born after the prize, like a couple minutes too late, because the other baby, he was born first. And she was always like the unlucky, they said, they kind of like labeled her as like unlucky, and that she like would always, have bad stuff happen to her. And so every year at New Year's Eve, she always had a horrible New Year's Eve, because that was her birthday. It was like supposedly like the bad luck combining on that day, And she one New Year's Eve, she met the boy that was born the same day, that same time that got that cash prize, and they met at one of his like fabulous big parties for his birthday on New Year's Eve. And she had a terrible night again, and they kept running into each other, and they kept kind of like bumping paths, and he was like, there's something about her, I really like her, and they just keep bumping into paths, and then it develops into more very, there's a lot of bumps to get there, but it starts to develop into something more. And she has a pie making company, she's on the brink of losing it, and he wants to help, and she realized, I've clearly been talking too long because it cut out. I don't remember what I was saying, but she has a pie making company, and he wants to help because it's not going well. She's in risk of losing it, and he wants to help her out. And she realizes that his life really wasn't all rainbows and sunshine like she thought it was, because he was super wealthy and all this stuff, and her family didn't have much. So yeah, it was a cute book. I liked it. It was cute. I don't think I'd read it again, but it was really cute. So the last book I have to show you guys today is the X Hex by Erin Sterling. This probably was my third favorite book. It was definitely up in the top of my favorite books. I really liked this one. Again, it's a little witchy vibes, which is fun. I think I read this one in October, which was really fun around Halloween. And a rom-com, as you guessed. So it starts with never mix vodka and witchcraft. And 9 years ago, Vivian Jones nursed her broken heart like any young witch would: vodka, weepy music, bubble baths, and a curse of the horrible boyfriend. And she figured like, oh, it's not going to be serious. Like, we're just joking around, her and her cousin. And she's like, I'm not like a very powerful witch. Like, she's living with her aunt and her cousin because she wasn't allowed to use witchcraft growing up. And she said to go live with them, and they were able to help teach her like witchcraft stuff again. And she's like, I'm not a very strong witch. It doesn't really matter. It's not going to be real. We're just joking around. Turned out they were very much real, and it definitely was a real curse. And the guy that she cursed, the ex-boyfriend, was actually a very powerful witch from a very powerful witch family over in England. Again, there's a lot of England in these books. And when he comes back to charge the like ley lines that his great ancestors laid in this town, which keeps the magic going, keeps magic strong, he went to come charge them, not realizing he had a curse on him, and then the curse activated as soon as he made it back to, I think, like some kind of magical barrier of the city, and it activated. It activated itself, and things get a little bit amiss, and then she has to confess that she actually had accidentally cursed him, and they had to work to figure out how to undo it because the town's magic starts kind of crumbling. So it was a really cute book. I liked it. I thought it was a lot of fun. It was also kind of like an adventure, like them trying to figure out how to remove the curse to stop cursing everyone else's magic in the city. And it was cute. I thought it was fun. It was kind of like a fun, cute adventure as they fell in love, and then there's witches. So it was a cute book, and I liked it. So those are all of the books I've read in 2021. I'm still working on finishing up one more book, just like sneak on in. But this was so much fun. I hope you guys liked it. I hope there are some books in here that you're kind of looking at maybe reading now. I want to do this again next year as well, and I challenge you, if you choose to accept it, to try to finish one book a month for the entire year, or you could just do like 12 books for the year, whatever is best for you. And I had a lot of fun. So I'll leave my code or my link for Book of the Month Club down below. I have a referral link. Anybody can have a referral link. It's just the one in my account. So if you use that, I believe you get money off, but I also get some money off my next box as well. But I don't know for sure. You don't have to use it. You could just go to their website and sign up. That's what I did. But this video is not sponsored or anything like that because they don't even know who I am, Book of the Month Club. But I really have enjoyed it. I also just enjoy going to like Barnes and Nobles and Target and just browsing their books and just picking one up, like the olden days. That was really fun too. So I hope you guys like this video. Let me know down below if you have any recommendations for what books I should read next year, because I'm going to do this again. I had so much fun and I fell back in love with reading and it was just great. I loved it. It was the best thing I did this year. I love it so much. So I hope you're having a wonderful holiday season and a happy new year, and I'll see you guys in 2022. Bye.